Hey guys, it's Jay. Welcome back or welcome to my channel. Right now is less than 24 hours until I get to go and see Avengers Endgame, and I am really excited. As you can tell, I am already in theme with my t-shirt. I've actually got an Iron Man earring in one ear and a Captain America one in the other. I am so pumped for this movie. I thought Infinity War would be the most exciting thing. I was wrong. This is insane. What I want to do today before I see the film is I want to run you through my Endgame theories. So if you want to know what I think is going to happen in Avengers Endgame, make sure you keep on watching. Before we get started though, I am going to issue a spoiler warning for the second half of my video. Right now I'm going to do my 5 predictions, and then after I've wrapped on that, I'm then going to, after I've seen the film, give my review and say if my 5 predictions actually came to fruition. So if you have not seen Avengers Endgame, after I have done my predictions, I'll put another warning. Make sure that you pause, put this in your watch later, and watch after you have seen the film as to not spoil it for yourself. Coming in at number 5, my first prediction, or least likely, least anticipated prediction, is that Ty Simpkins will play a major role. Now, if you don't remember who Ty Simpkins is, he plays the kid in Iron Man 3, Harley. He is actually grown up now and on the cast list for Avengers Endgame, and I think he may actually end up playing a major role. However, because I don't know a lot about it, and because Marvel and Disney are really good at keeping secrets, not a lot of information about it has been given out. So I think that there is a possibility that he may play a major role, but I put it at least likely just because I'm not super excited for it and I don't know how likely it actually is. Prediction number 4. So my 4th prediction is that the children of the Avengers, so any future kids the Avengers may have, will have a major role in taking over the Avengers and the next saga of the Marvel Cinematic Universe after the Infinity Saga completes. I don't know how likely this is. There are a lot of whispers that Catherine Langford, the girl in 13 Reasons Why, the photos of her in makeup on set for Avengers Endgame, because she's also on the cast list, is that she may actually play the child that Tony Stark and Pepper Potts were theoretically talking about at the start of Avengers Infinity War. I thought that this may come tied at 4th or 5th. I put it at 4th because I'm a little bit more excited that there could be more people involved than just Ty Simpkins, and that using the quantum realm for time travel may actually lead to looking into the future of the Avengers, which is super exciting, but there's way more interesting things, so I will proceed. Number 3, and possibly what most people would consider the most likely, but I'm not excited for because I think everyone is ready for this heartbreak, is that one or all or a number of the 4 main Avengers may die in this film. I know most people are expecting that Tony Stark or Steve Rogers may actually end up dying in this film. They're both been in the Marvel Cinematic Universe for a long time, and contractually they'll probably be ending their time with the MCU here. But there's also a possibility of this with Thor and Hulk as well, because they have actually been in it just as long. So there is a good chance that one of those 4 main Avengers would die in this film, which would be sad, but is very likely. Prediction number 2. This one may be less likely, but is definitely interesting to me, is that Thanos lives. A lot of the content we've seen so far with Captain Marvel first meeting the Avengers in the trailers is that they would use the Infinity Gauntlet to kill Thanos. I think it would be very interesting if Thanos ended up living after this film and if he continued to live on Titan 2. Because just like when they kept Loki alive and Loki died and came back, his character development was very interesting. And I think that seeing a similar path take place out of the Infinity Saga with Thanos would be really interesting. So I'm excited for that. Not as likely, not as anticipated, but I'm definitely excited for it. And all of this brings me to my number 1 prediction. And my number 1 prediction is that unexpected people do or do not resume after Avengers Endgame in the MCU. There are a lot of theories about who will return with the fights taking place to save the world in Avengers Endgame, and most people think that anyone who died at the hands of Thanos in Avengers Infinity War will automatically be coming back in Avengers Endgame and continuing on. But what I think is the most interesting thing is, what would the Guardians of the Galaxy be without Gamora? Why would we see Heimdall again when we're not going to see another Thor movie, or we may not see Thor in his own movie? What would it be like if any of these people do or do not come back? There's some people that we may be expecting to come back just because, and they do not. There's a lot of things that could happen, and I think that the alleged fake footage in the trailer and going in completely blind is half of what makes this film so anticipated and so interesting, and I am really excited to see it. If you agree with any or all of my predictions, make sure you give this video a like, and like I said at the start of the video, make sure that if you have not seen Avengers Endgame and you do not want any spoilers, that you pause this video now, pop it in your watch later playlist, and come back after you've seen the film to make sure that you don't spoil anything for yourself. I will see you in a couple of days when I've probably recovered and debriefed from seeing this film. Hey guys, it is Jay. It has been a couple of days. I have seen Avengers Endgame and loved it, and I am back to reevaluate my predictions. Now, whether you are someone who is making their first video on the Marvel Cinematic Universe or their 3000th video on the Marvel Cinematic Universe, there is no way anyone was predicting anything about this film. One, because it was crazier and messier and more insane than anyone I think I know could ever have expected. And two, because almost none of the events of this film were based on one specific or a couple of specific comic book arcs. So this was all fresh, so props to the Russo brothers for doing a fantastic job. Also guys, sorry if the lighting is a little bit inconsistent throughout this video. I rely on natural lighting and I'm having a bit of a crazy Melbourne weather kind of day, so please stick with me. So prediction number 5 was that Ty Simpkins would play a major role in this film, and although he didn't, it was good to see him make a feature in that final funeral scene. Prediction number 4, which was the Avengers children would play a major role in the film. This also didn't end up happening in the sense that they would take over the Marvel Cinematic Universe, but it was good to see Cassie Lang reunite with her father. It was good to see that Morgan, the theoretical child that Tony and Pepper Potts were talking about at the start of Infinity War, actually ended up being the cutest little kid, and the fate of her father is so sad for her to witness throughout this film, but it shows that having teenagers of the Avengers there leaves possibility for future films, even though them playing a major role in taking over the Avengers didn't actually happen in this film. Prediction number 3 was that one of the big four, so Thor, Hulk, Captain America, or Iron Man, either one or an amount of those four would die in this film. That did end up happening to some capacity. We've lost Iron Man, which, if Iron Man was going to be the one to start the Marvel Cinematic Universe, he rightfully should be the one to end the Infinity Saga. So we've lost Iron Man, and him being my favorite superhero in the Avengers makes me really sad. We've also tied up Captain America's saga because he's gone back, he's lived a full life with Peggy, and now he is too old, but he has passed on the mantle. So we may have lost Steve Rogers, but we haven't lost Captain America, and I think that that's great. Looking in the context of the big six, so that's those four characters plus Hawkeye and Black Widow, we've also lost Black Widow, which was super unexpected considering I considered the big four being someone that would die, not out of the 6 characters. Also considering that the Black Widow is supposed to have her own movie, allegedly. So seeing Natasha Romanoff go was heartbreaking, and it was one of the saddest scenes in the film, but I think it was a great motivator for the rest of the plot and the other acts that followed. Prediction number 2 was that Thanos would live. Now, this is where it gets a little bit complicated. Ultimately, at the end of the film, I am Iron Man snap. We lose Thanos and his entire army once and for all. However, he does also die at the start of the film. So Thanos does live, but in a completely different context to what I predicted or hoped for. It would be a little bit crazy and outlandish for him to live, because this film was already crazy and outlandish enough. And then my number one most likely prediction was that unexpected characters would or would not be returning following Avengers Endgame. This also happened, and this was the most likely because that was just the inevitable fate of the film. So we didn't get Vision back, which I definitely thought wasn't even a question. So when he didn't pop up at the end of the film, I was a little bit sad, but we also got to see 2014 Guardians of the Galaxy Gamora, which was really interesting. We got to see Frigga, a couple of final moments that she got to motivate the role of Thor and where he would end up going for the rest of the film, which I thought was very interesting. And then we also got a really pleasant scene between Tony Stark and Howard Stark. I think that these unexpected returns and not returns were a very emotional addition to the films, and or at least the absence as well was also an emotional addition to the film. And I think overall Avengers Endgame turned out to be an amazing film and an amazing way for an homage to be paid to the people who have been following this series for as long as I have, or even longer through the comic books, for decades now. So thank you to Stan Lee, Jack Kirby, and thank you to the Russo brothers for doing such an amazing job with this film. I will definitely be rewatching it before it's out of cinemas, and make sure you go and see it again too. Okay guys, that is all I have for you for today with my Avengers Endgame prediction and review. If you want to see any more content like this about the Marvel Universe exclusively, make sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell. The next time I do a video like this will be for Spider-Man Far From Home, which is coming out in a couple of months here in Australia. Make sure to also share this video with any of your Avengers Endgame certified friends, and make sure to not spoil the Endgame and send this to anyone who has not seen it, because it is a full spoiler review. Also, make sure that if you have any theories and predictions that I didn't touch on and you want to share what you thought after the film, to leave a comment below in this video. I will be answering each and every one of them. And also make sure to connect with me on Facebook, Snapchat, Instagram, or Twitter if you want to talk there about the film or any other content that I have. You will be able to find me at It's J Francis 0. All of the links will be below. Make sure to take care of yourself until I see you next time in my next video.